Hey everyone, it's me Olivia, and it has been 1 year since I had my Lasik eye surgery, and I want to talk about it. March 28th of 2023, I had my Lasik eye surgery, which, yes, I'm 2 weeks early, but highly doubt anything is going to change about my experience between now and then. Basically, I just wanted to talk about my experience before, during, and after the surgery, and I do want to put a disclaimer that, obviously, I am not a doctor. I am not going to inform you of actually what Lasik eye surgery is. I'm just going to talk about my experience and everything I remember from the day of to really give you an idea of what your experience could be going into this surgery. So let's talk about pre-surgery. Before I even went to the Lasik surgeon's office, I had to get approved by my eye doctor that I'm even eligible for Lasik because not everyone is. There are two corrective vision eye surgeries. One is Lasik and the other is PRK, which a lot of people that are not eligible for Lasik can be eligible for PRK, but some people are eligible for neither. So essentially, my normal eye doctor performed pretty basic tests, like it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but they just confirmed that my eyes are eligible for Lasik, so they referred me to the Lasik doctors, and that's when I went and saw them for a consultation. So once I was at the Lasik doctors for my consultation, they just performed pretty much the same test that my eye doctor did, just for their own reference. They also had every single record that I have from my eye doctor just to base it off of. Yeah, they perform those tests and then they just talk to me about the process and see if it's what I actually want, and well, it's what I wanted. So we scheduled the date, and really the only preparation that they said that I needed to do before surgery is to not wear contact lenses for the whole week leading up to it. I'm not exactly sure why. Basically, you just have to wear your glasses for a whole week leading into it, which I feel like is kind of fun anyways, because it's the last time you're gonna need glasses, so wear them for one last week. Alright, let's talk about surgery day. So I had my surgery at 8 a.m., which is quite early, and at my doctor's office, they actually like to do all of the Lasik eye surgeries before noon. I'm not quite sure why, but I mean, I'm glad that I knocked it out really early in the morning, but it did feel like a long day after that. So once I got there and they called me back, they ran just a few last minute tests just to make sure that nothing changed between the consultation and the surgery, because there was a month gap between that. So they just want to solidify that their plan is the same. And luckily, nothing changed for me, so no issues there. I'm not sure what happens if there are. I would assume they just would delay your surgery. But after that, they put me kind of just in my own room, kind of just when you're at a doctor's office and you're in your room. They put me in one of those rooms, and it felt like I was waiting for an hour. I think it was close to that, but halfway through the time of being in that room, the doctor came in and was like, okay, if you want to take the anxiety meds, which they did prescribe, take it now. And I actually opted not to because I had anxiety about taking the anxiety meds, which, it contradicts itself. They're supposed to help that, but I decided not to because I was scared about the meds. I went into this cold turkey, and then about 20-30 minutes later, they called me in and it was time for surgery. So the surgery is just kind of in a standard size room, the size of a bedroom, and it just has a huge machine which you lay down on a bed type thing, and then there's two sides with lasers. And once I laid down, they put numbing eye drops in my eyes. They waited a minute for those to kick in, and then they clamped my eyes open, which I will say there were some complications with that because of just the bone structure I have right here. It was not easy to keep them open, I guess. So I'll talk about that after. But they clamped them open, and then I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, because it was kind of just a moment I blocked out of my life, I believe the doctor then cut, because there's a layer of clear, I don't even know. They cut the first layer of your eye open, and once that flap is open, they go in with the first laser. I remember that the first one kind of just makes your vision go completely black. I think it's something applying pressure directly to your eyeball, hence why your vision's going black, and it does its thing. I think this one I had to stare at a center point. The laser was on my eye for 30 seconds, and then it was time for the second laser, and the second laser, I just remember it being very colorful, whatever I was seeing, and it was doing its thing, and then on to the next eye, and then I was done. I believe I was in the operating room for 10 minutes max. Now, I will say I was very uncomfortable the whole time of the surgery, and I'm sure part of it is because I decided not to take the anxiety meds. They obviously recommend those for a reason, but it still wasn't unbearable. I would do it again if I had to. So it's really not that bad, but I will say it's not gonna be the most pleasant experience of your life. It's gonna be quite uncomfortable, but once it's over, you're good. So Just live through it. It's 10 minutes. And then after that, I think they just put me like in a little hallway sitting in a chair for a bit while things were simmering down. I don't exactly know. But then they gave me a to-go bag, and the to-go bag had sunglasses, which very important because your eyes are going to be super sensitive to the light after the surgery, obviously. And then it had 2 different types of eye drops. The first eye drop was one that I had to take every 4 hours, I think. And it was kind of like a milky color, which every time I put it in my eyes, it looked weird. But that one is kind of like a antibacterial healing eye drop. And then the other one is just re-wetting because your eyes are just going to tend to be really dry after this surgery. So the re-wetting one, you kind of just use as needed, but they recommend probably every 2 hours. I totally forgot, but they also sent me home with like sleep goggles because they didn't want like your pillowcases or anything to rub against your eye when you sleep. So I had to wear those to sleep for 7 days. But then I got sent home and they told me that once I get home, take a 4-hour nap. I'm assuming it's just to let your eyes heal without you having to be awake and dealing with it. So once I got home, I obviously tried to take this nap, and I will say I really struggled to sleep. One, because I think I lived too far from the surgery place for me to nap in time before it kind of starts hurting, because the numbing drops are gonna obviously wear off. So when I got home, I was already kind of feeling uncomfortable. My eyes were burning, and I guess the best way to describe it, which I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but anytime that I would close my eyes, it felt like I was having thunderstorms in my head. Like, it was literally like my brain was quivering, like not actually, but that's what it felt like. It was not pleasant. So this nap was very unsuccessful for me. It was just me basically trying to fight to keep my eyes closed with these weird thunderstorm feelings in my head for the 4 hours, because I also assumed that they want your eyes to be closed for healing, so it was not comfortable. And even after the 4 hours, I still was kind of uncomfortable, but it got better throughout the day. As the Gen Z that I am so addicted to my screens, so this day was really hard because they don't want you by your screens for at least 24 hours after the surgery, and also like they don't want you to really be exposed to light, so it was just a very dark, boring day. And anytime that I did get exposed to light, those brain thunderstorms would come back. But the next day, I woke up, pain gone. My eyes were pretty crusty when I woke up, and I'm assuming it's just like, the healing juices. I don't know, but I just opened them and put my eye drops in, and then it was fine. But that's when I realized, oh my god, my vision, I just woke up and I don't need glasses right now? Excuse me? It was insane. Like, just waking up, it kind of just like, for a moment I forgot that I had the surgery, and because my eyes were also crusty, I was like, oh no, did I leave my contacts in overnight? No, I just could see. My eyes could see. But that next day when I looked into the mirror, I saw something that I was not expecting to see. I had really, really badly popped eye blood vessels. And this comes back to the clamping issue that they had. So when they were trying to clamp my eyes open, took a lot of strain on my eyes with how they were tugging things, blood vessels popped. And I was terrified, but luckily they had the next day follow-up appointment. So I could immediately ask them oh my goodness, is this normal? And they said, yeah, it's normal. And they explained that it probably came from the clamping and that it would go away. It definitely was scary. And because of how bad mine were, I was kind of insecure to go out in public for a little bit, just because I didn't want people to think that the pop blood vessels were something else. I literally did have a coworker pull me off to the side to make sure I was okay because of them, and I had to explain, don't worry, it's just surgery. That was the worst part of the experience, was just the aftermath, because you obviously want to enjoy it right away, but I was kind of insecure because of how I looked. But it went away. I kept up with my eye drops, and now we're chilling, so that's good. But I'd say it took 3 to 4 weeks until my eyes looked completely normal. But luckily the pop blood vessels did not affect my vision. It was just a aesthetic thing when you look at my face. Another thing I want to cover is that it did definitely take some adjustment to get used to light again after the surgery. The first time that I drove after it was kind of scary, honestly. I was worried that the surgery went wrong just because my eye was not adjusting to sunlight well, so the street didn't look clear, and it was kind of just making me dizzy. I was like, oh no, is one eye off? I definitely was thrown for a loop the first few times that I had to drive or be outside or be around bright lights, but that's just, your eyes are still healing, like they're not 100%, so like it's not going to be completely clear until your eyes are fully healed. And I'll say now, I don't have that issue anymore, so they healed, we're good. I did have a 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month checkup after the surgery, which these are mandatory because you do have a healing scar in your eye and the doctor needs to make sure that it's still like healed and not reopening. And again, mine was great. We're doing great. I have my next eye appointment actually coming up in like 2 weeks. Now, I did want to talk about one side effect, I guess, of the surgery that may or may not be related, to be honest. But after having the surgery, I feel like I have had so many frequent headaches, and I'm not sure if it is because of it, but it did happen post-surgery, and it does kind of make sense that something with surgery on your eyes could give you headaches if your eyes are obviously operating differently than they used to. So I'm hoping this is something that'll go away or is not related to this and it's something I can fix. Keep that in mind, that I feel like that is a side effect that a lot of people could get. It just makes sense to be one. Just keep that ibuprofen on hand and you'll be fine. I think that is all I want to cover about my LASIK experience. And I guess the one thing you're wondering, do I recommend it? Yeah. It is so nice waking up every day, not having to worry about contacts anymore. And I feel like in the long run, it would save you money because the money that you're spending on glasses and contacts will eventually equal the amount of money that you paid for the surgery. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. I hope this video was a little bit beneficial to helping you if you're looking into LASIK, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.